So I try really hard not to judge people on what they're going through because literally anything could happen. Our life could change in a blink of an eye. If we just even look at the state of the world, that's another thing. Like
Like,
traveling in the state of the world, in
yeah.
the state of society, like things are changing.
So, I think it's really just a lot of continuing to work on detachment, of course, and then just
Doing
tricking
shit
myself.
scared.
Yeah, just doing it scared because it's like you're gonna end up having a good time.
Welcome to the kitchen table, where we laugh, cry, and spill all the tea while diving deep into stories that shape who we are. I'm Paige, your host, a single Black mother, storyteller, and someone who's been on a lifelong journey of healing and growth. This podcast is a safe space for truth telling, healing, and connection. Here, we'll explore how trauma and resilience have shaped my life and yours, and how we find joy and strength along the way. So I just want to check in with everybody and ask, how are you doing? If you were here for my last episode, you know that I was recently laid off and I have just been doing the work to process that experience and exploring what that feels like for me and what my next steps are. So I'm holding space for myself on this day, taking things one day at a time and knowing that all of the doors that close mean more doors are opening. And so I want to dive right into today's episode that I am calling Reinventing Yourself. And at the table today, we have a dear friend turned little sister turned mentee with me. This is Key, and I'm so happy to have her at the kitchen table with me today. I'm so proud of her and all that she has accomplished thus far. And today I want to explore how we reinvent ourselves from the time that we've grown up in the way that we've grown up, the way that we were raised, and how we take that and decide to do something different, or in some cases, the same thing. I'm just so proud of the direction that Kia has taken on her life and the choices that she's making. And I know it wasn't easy to get here, and there have been a lot of trials and tribulations along the way, but nevertheless, we're here one more day. And for that, we can express gratitude. But I wanted to introduce you because you're actually physically here at my kitchen table today, which is wonderful. I haven't seen you in, I want to say, a month of Sundays, but honestly, even though that is a Black measurement, it's been longer than a month of Sundays. It's literally, I haven't seen you in at least two, a year and a half
Probably
to
a
two
year and a half,
years.
maybe 2.
A year and a half to 2 years. That's actually crazy. And I'm not happy to say that, but it's because you have been doing big things and I want to talk about it. So, the tea today is how you reinvent yourself, the concept of reinvention, and where those moments of uncertainty can become opportunities for growth. So, what are some moments in your life where you were uncertain of what was to come? And how have you been able to turn that around into doing whatever it is the hell that you want to do? Because I feel like that's what you do. And I love that for you.
That's question, actually. I've never sat down and thought about it.
From the outside looking in,
Yeah.
and I don't even get to see that much, but from the outside looking in, I feel like you were doing whatever the hell you want to, right?
Yeah. I feel like one day I woke up and I was like, I don't really wanna be here. I'm gonna go somewhere else." And that just started with me picking a random country and going.
That, first of all, bravery, because even though that's a desire that I have now that I have a small child, like, I'm a little bit like, I'm scared, I'm not gonna hold you, like, I'm scared to do it, and before I had her, I was still scared to do it, so, like, how do you do it? Like, what?
I don't know. I can't tell you that I wasn't terrified, though.
Yeah.
Like, going to a whole different country where you might not speak the language and you don't know the culture norms, and all of that is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, trying to shop in a grocery store in Peru, and I don't even know what the heck
You don't even know
stuff
what
is
you're looking
called.
at.
I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't know how to find what I'm looking for. I didn't know enough Spanish to ask for what I was looking for, so I'm just winging it, and now that was a long time ago, and that was before we had to take a picture on your phone to translate it. So I was just picking things and hoping for the best.
So basically what she's trying to say is that she outside, like she been out here. Y'all heard that? I picked up on it. Clock it, okay? That's awesome though. So tell me where have all the countries that you have been to since you first started traveling? And wait, because I feel like this is important. How old are you?
25.
Okay. All right, where have you been?
Mexico, Colombia, Thailand, Vietnam. Malaysia, Indonesia, Colombia, Costa Rica.
Yeah,
I feel
look,
like I already said that.
I lost count.
I feel like I'm forgetting some, but that's what I can think of off the top of my
And so to me, especially at my age, I didn't grow up with a family that traveled. And
Me either.
exactly, and that's what I wanna talk about. Like, my mom was afraid of traveling.
Mm.
I didn't get on my first plane until my early 20s after college, and I went to Florida for the first time. Like, we don't come from families that are where our family, especially as a whole, we have 1 or 2. Like, I have a couple of my siblings are well traveled, but they did that into their adulthood. These weren't experiences that we had growing up. And I'm sure if you call one of your parents, or I would have called my mom and say, all right, listen, I'm jumping on this plane and I'm going to Peru. I'll see you when I get back. They're gonna flip shit.
Yeah.
Like, how did your parents react when you told them that
That's
this is what you were gonna
That's
start doing?
exactly how they react. My dad was like, "What you mean? You can't get on a plane and go to Peru by yourself?" And I'm like, "Daddy, I'm grown.
I'm grown.
I
I'm a whole
can't go
adult.
by myself." My mom was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna get kidnapped. You're gonna be sex trafficked. I'm never gonna see you again." She even acted like that when I go to Puerto Rico by myself.
Yeah. And those fears, honestly, in the world that we live in today, those fears are valid. And so I get it. But I think there's so much more to even speak about when that fear is being projected from our parents and why they have that and who projected that fear. I really feel like it's generational. That
Yeah.
when their parents projecting that fear on them, and that home is the only safe place for you.
Mhm.
And unfortunately for me and the place I am in my life, like even when I'm thinking about relocating, and this is what makes me so proud of you for just stepping out on that and doing it scared anyway, because when I think about relocating, especially with Harlem, even to a different state, I'm like, but I actually feel safest here. I
Mhm.
feel the safest in Maryland. I feel like it's the safest place for me regarding my circumstances, but that still doesn't take the desire away. Like, I still want to relocate. It's so hard to wrap my brain around living somewhere. I think that
Mhm.
I could probably do the being somewhere for an extended period of time, but living somewhere, I'm not 100% sure about. I think about it all the time, and I hope that day comes for me. I think I'll feel a little bit better about it when she's a little bit older. But you don't have kids.
No.
And I love that for you because, like I said, from the outside looking in, like you're just doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
But like, how hard was it for you to be able to separate yourself from community as you know it? Because I feel like things have to shift and change within your own personal community and not even just family, like leaving people that you care about and
Mhm.
doing your own thing. I feel like that is a whole topic of conversation in itself. And I think that comes with a lot of feelings. It
Yeah.
would for me.
Yeah.
How do you process that?
That's what you said. You feel Maryland is the safest place for you. I feel like I no longer feel that way, and I haven't felt that way for a long time, and I haven't felt the most comfortable here in a very long time. So, I think just not feeling really tied to it, like, I don't feel, like, emotionally connected
Mhm.
to it anymore, and it's, "Oh, am I happy?" is when I'm in Thailand sitting on the balcony smoking a
I
blunt.
know that's right.
Yeah, and the winter, that's not for me. I've known that for a long time.
I'm sorry. I got in my car last week and it said 1 degree.
Yeah, no, thank you. But I think it was just for me accepting the fact that, okay, this is my family. They're always gonna be my family. I don't have to be around them every single day or every single week. And my mom isn't gonna spontaneously combust because I didn't call her every 45 minutes. So I think it's just accepting that it's okay to be my own person is what kinda makes it okay for me to leave and go somewhere for multiple months or a couple of weeks or whatever,
Yeah.
and just feel like, "Okay, everything is still gonna be there when I get back."
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, home is always going to be home.
Yeah.
And you really have two homes too.
Yeah.
Maryland is your home. You got a whole nother home
Yeah.
as well. And they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
I admire your bravery, your ability to be spontaneous, your ability to just pick up
Mhm.
and go. It's not easy for everybody. Everybody can't do that. As much as I would love to say that I can do that.
I think one of the things that kinda makes it easier for me to do that is, like, some of the experiences I had as a child
Mhm.
that kinda made me less attached to things.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a whole another episode, so I'm not gonna talk about that. just the ability to be like, okay, this is just a thing. Like this can be replaced. It's not some sentimental object. I can get another mattress. I can get another couch if I sell it all and leave tomorrow. Like they're still gonna have this stuff on the market.
Yeah, that's no, for real,
Yeah.
that's a concept, and I'll just dive into that a little bit and share some vulnerability, like attachment. I had a big problem with attachment, and that's something as an adult I'm still working through. So you already know, and lots of people know, but like my mom had a lot of kids, that and you have a big family too. So there's a lot of us, and there were a few times where we lost everything.
Mhm.
And my mom low key was a hoarder, and I started to notice as I was growing into adulthood that my mom was like, she would shop a lot, but she was keeping things, like, literally for forever and, like, buying things that she didn't need just to have the things, and my mom purchased things out of living a life of lack, right? Like, she
Mhm.
always felt like she lacked so much growing up, and there were especially after she raised all her kids, there were things that she couldn't get for herself. So, as an adult and she had the ability to, if she wanted something, she was gonna go and get it because
Yeah.
if she wants it, then she knows that she deserves to have it, and I agree with that to an extent, but it started to become a little bit excessive now. You could still walk through my house, but you know how much stuff my mom had. For me, as a young adult, I recognized that problem early, and I started adopting minimalism,
Yeah.
and there was one season of my life where I was in a really deep, dark depression, and in that season, the way I was able to pull myself out is I started to do I did a couple of things. So there's one thing that I call the sticky note method, and
Mhm.
so I was writing on my sticky notes every day whatever my win was. I celebrated every single win, and that was one of the things that I worked on. And one of the other things that I did that I also saw as a win is that I purged every 90 days. Like I took 90 days and I would purge and just get rid of whatever wasn't serving me, whatever I hadn't touched. Now, there are a few items of mine that like would be off limits. Like I would never purge my books, like
Mhm.
my collection of books, my collection of journals, and hoodies. Cause I used to be a hoodie girl down. I was always wearing hoodies. But everything else, if I didn't wear it in those 90 days, if I didn't touch it, if I didn't use it, I would purge that. And what I was doing is I was not only making, I believe that a cluttered space is a cluttered mind.
Mhm.
And so I believe that if I cleaned out my space, I was also clearing out my mind, but I was also making space for new things and not necessarily new physical things, but new things that I'm pouring into my spirit, that I'm pouring into my mind, that I'm pouring into my body. But I had to make space for it. But it that was a pivotal lesson for
Yeah.
me in my life because it has everything to do with attachment. Like, I still have letters from high school. Like, I got the letters from my boyfriends in middle school. Like, why? I don't need that. Why do I need that? Everything that's
Okay.
attached to a memory, I would keep. And you don't need to keep those things because it's up here. And what you can't feel or what you can't see or what you can't recall in here is in here.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that over time. So, like, that attachment thing for me and my attachment to home. And it's like, now that my mom is gone, I don't feel necessarily that I'm tied here, but I do have emotional connection here. I used to like hate this place, like growing up and be like, oh, I never want to stay here. But like now I low key want to raise my child here. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do. But it also has that emotional attachment for me. And so attachment it's a big deal. It's a
It is.
big part of the decisions that you make, especially going into an adulthood and you still being a young adult being able to turn that around and say, okay, I know that X, Y, and Z happened and that this is the way I feel about attachment. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna do what I want to do. Like
Yeah.
I honestly commend you for that. I think that is such an admirable thing that you have about yourself and being able to take that step and make that decision is really important and especially for as young as you are. And I hope that you continue to do that and creating space for yourself and taking up space wherever the hell it is that you want to be.
That that's it's just crazy that you say that because that's something that I struggle with. Like even being this confident traveler that solo traveled to multiple countries by myself. It's like even trying to be this confident person that's, oh, I've been to all these places by myself. I'm not scared. I'm not like nervous. I'm not shy. And that's me just trying to gaslight myself into thinking those things. Like I will be on a plane by myself or
Scared as hell.
scared as hell. Or even if my boyfriend is there, he's on the plane and I'm like holding his hands like, this almost hurt to find nothing. This ain't
Oh,
nothing.
that little bit of turbulence.
The whole time my stomach is dropping. My
Yeah,
stomach is falling out of the air.
I felt that.
So I think it's really just a lot of continuing to work on detachment, of course, and then just tricking myself.
scared.
Yeah, just doing it scared because it's like you're gonna end up having a good time.
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
That's advice that I honestly need to take for myself.
Yeah.
Even in this season of my life where I have no job, I'm unemployed. If you're hiring, get at me. But that giving myself like the time and space to better myself and then work on new projects. Like, I'm terrified. This podcast, I'm terrified. Now y'all probably can't tell because
I'm sure they can tell that I am.
no, not at all. You're cool. You're cool. But no, like this is definitely a passion project that I was scared to put out. Like being vulnerable on the internet. I watch so many people be vulnerable on the internet and get their asses handed to them all the time. I have a lot of stories. They're so mean. My stories could be easily judged. And you know what?
Yeah.
I pride myself on being a person. I truly try my hardest not to judge anybody's situation, anybody's relationships, anybody's circumstances, because we're all one circumstance away from being wherever it is that they are. The person that you're judging, I get frustrated sometimes in situations, and then I have to take a second and think I'm one circumstance away from being the person that I'm frustrated with. I one paycheck away from being broke as hell. I'm broke as hell. But I'm one situation away from everything in my life having to change. So I try really hard not to judge people on what they're going through, because literally anything could happen. Our life could change in a blink of an eye. If we just even look at the state of the world. That's another thing. Like traveling in the state of the world, in the state of society, like things are changing. And I'm over here living in a box of, I'm not living in denial per se because I know what's happening, but I choose not to let it consume my life because I got way too much to worry about and to think about.
Too big of a pull, huh?
Yeah.
I got way too much in my life to like think about, and I have a whole almost 4-year-old to take care of. And so I cannot use all of my energy on what the hell is going around in politics, all the people, all the things. I don't even want to get into it in depth. I'm scared. But you won't catch me watching the news or reading all these articles about it. No, I'm not going to, because if the time that I have to enjoy just existing in a world with my kid who only knows that this is my mom and this is my life and this is what we do on a regular basis, then this is exactly where I'm going to stay. And I know people will say that I'm living in a fairy tale. No, I'm not, because nothing about this life is easy, and nothing about my life or what I experience every single day is easy. But I can only do what I can do. But baby, if we doing something, y'all make sure y'all tell me about it. But you won't catch, I'm not sitting in front of a news channel to just pour trauma into myself day in and day out. As Black women, we've experienced enough trauma just from existing. Right? I don't need to absorb everybody else's. I just don't. I'm in a time in my life where I literally just cannot hold space for all of that stuff today. And like, I want to run away sometimes, go somewhere else, but there's always going to be something somewhere at the end of the day. And just about, I guess, choosing the somewhere where you are comfortable with dealing it. Like,
it's not gonna get up and move. So,
boy. But yeah, it's hard out here.
it is.
But I'm happy that you're here and I get to see you in the flesh. It was quite a pleasant surprise. I actually didn't know that she was home or in town until yesterday. I got a text. She was like, "Are you busy tomorrow?" And I was like, "Are you here? Are you close by? Are you trying to come and see me?" Because
that's what I love about you, because I could have last talked to you in 2010 and
maybe it don't matter. Pull up.
Oh my gosh, I was like 10 years old then. So.
Oh my God. How old were you when
I was barely older than 10 years old when you met me.
I was at my college graduation, y'all.
Oh my God. I was like, I was literally 14.
And now you're 25.
Yeah.
What was it like coming up under me in that time of life?
That's what I needed. My sister will tell you I followed her around like a puppy. And when she left to go to college the night before, she went to an orientation there the day before she left.
You were sick about it.
I laid in her bed and I held her pillows and cried. Mind you, I was all of 13. And I was just so devastated. So you're just like another big sister for me, and that's what I needed.
Happy to play the role.
Yeah.
This has happened to me quite a few times where I just absorb younger sisters, and I love that. I love
Yeah.
that for me. I love watching y'all grow up to be young women. It's honestly the best thing, and watching you be a full functioning adult. I remember when we took you to college for the first time, getting your first apartment, and all the things. Literally, it's the best getting to have, and I talked about the last episode, community. You're part of my community and you have been for a long time, no matter where you are in the world or the country. Just know, and I know you always have a space here with me, and that'll never change no matter how long we go without seeing each other. But I'm so happy you're here. Like it was a pleasant surprise, and it was a perfect opportunity for me to be able to highlight you as a person at my table and to let you know that I'm proud of everything that you're doing, everything that you've done, all the things that you've accomplished, even if, the trajectory of your life hasn't gone the way that you wanted it to or the way that you planned it to. You know, what we do, especially as Black women, is we take whatever it is that we've been dealt. What's that saying? You take lemons and you make lemonade, right? I just feel like you're just always making lemonade out of your circumstances, and it's sweet. It's sweet as hell.
It's like you really don't have a choice but to turn the lemons into lemonade.
And don't, because what else you gonna do?
What else are we gonna do?
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss with me today while I have you here? I did not want to pass up on this opportunity to be able to have you to join me at the table.
I don't have anything to add, just I'm grateful to have you as part of my community.
Girl, make sure you come back whenever you come back the next time. Look, I have one requirement too. You just let me know where you're at
Okay.
or where you're going to be at. That goes for all of the people in my circle, the people in my community. You let me know you're leaving the country. You need an emergency contact. I will pick up the phone, and don't forget that code emoji. It is pineapples.
Okay.
But yes, I'm grateful for you. You've been with me through a lot of seasons of my life. You've seen a lot of activity. You've seen me grow a lot and still trusted me enough to want to be in the same space as me. And I don't take that for granted. And I definitely don't take it lightly. I know you've told me before that I'm somebody that you look up to. I look up to you as well. It was great talking to you at the kitchen table, and I cannot wait for us to do it again. So happy to do life with you and can't wait to do even more life with you. I love reflecting with you, but for now, we will close this until next time. And so thank you so much for joining me and Key at the kitchen table today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Share this podcast with someone who could use a little inspiration today, and let's keep these meaningful conversations going. Until next time, take care of yourself and those you love. Be good. You can stay connected and email me at thektablepodcast@gmail.com or connect with me on my personal Instagram, which is Paige Galloway, my first and last name, _. So Paige Galloway _, and share what this space has meant to you. I'm grateful that you chose this podcast to listen to. We don't take it for granted. And I want to invite you to listen to this podcast bi-weekly as I release these episodes. We're going to be talking about a lot and spilling all the tea here at the kitchen table. Till next time, and remember, the table is always open and there's always a seat for you. Take care.